And it's showtime. We back with another one. Blue is our city, Manchester City fan channel. And we live. We back at it, bro. We back at it. And the reason why we back at it is I really felt like I wasn't gonna do this video or this live because I really didn't expect us to drop points against West Brom. So I guess I'm just in a different mood and I had to watch the game back and kind of take a step back. Otherwise, if I would have done that video straight after the West Brom result, even though it was a point, it's not the worst situation. But if I would have done my video after that, I just would have been fuming like every other Manchester City fan. So I thought to myself, let me just kind of sit back, right, and watch the game again, but also watch the other fan channels and kind of watch ESPN FC, see what the chatter is about specifically when it comes to Manchester City, and what people were saying about the game. And bro, we just after that game, bro, the floodgates just opened, and we had a lot of people talking. So at the end of the day, that's what this video, this live is going to come down to. We're going to look at the Pep in versus Pep out conversation, where I stand on the matter. I'm going to talk about, is he making good decisions when it comes to team selection? Is he using his subs properly? We're going to take a look at Phil Foden in this live. We're going to take a look at Raheem Sterling in this live to figure out what the hell's going on with them. Normally, if you watch my videos, you watch my content, one thing you'll notice about me is I don't do a lot of cursing, but in videos like this, it's going to get testy, bro. So just know, just know it's going to get a little testy, but we're going to try to keep it all the way proper. I feel like I'm one of the few Manchester City fans that's definitely repping here in America. We different than, our boys across the pond, but we in unison when it comes to being Manchester City all the way through. And you could find me from all the way from New York, all the way down to Atlanta. I'm repping City Blue all the way from no matter where I am on the coast. So just know that. But we're also going to look at his transfer decisions, some of the decisions he's made. Now, I'm not going to really go deep into the transfers in this video. The reason why is I think I want to do another segment, like another 4-part series. I did one part series right now talking about Guardiola and did he earn his contract, this extension of the contract. So I did a series about that, but I'm also going to do a series again talking about the transfers. And I really want to title that called The Money at the end of the day, because we have spent a lot of money. Have we made the best decisions? But in this video, I'm going to talk about or touch upon, just a few transfers and kind of what's going on with City and where we're at and how that it has accumulated to where we're currently at in the team that we're currently witnessing. We're also going to talk about the double pivot. I mean, I've been watching a lot of content on other people's channels and everybody's like, yo, double pivot this, double pivot that. So I'm going to break down the double pivot from the way I see the double pivot. I'm also going to look at, like what's going on with the system. Can the system be better? And I'm also going to give you my reason and why I think I'm Pep in. Now, throughout this video, I'm definitely going to be criticizing him, but for the most part, just so you know, if you just tuned in, you like the video, you like the content, just know one thing. I'm Pep in at this point. I'm not Pep out, but do I question his decisions? Yes, I do. But we're going to get into that in this conversation. So the first talking point is Pep in versus Pep out. I've seen a lot of chatter about, not only because, and this is me taking a step back. I know a lot of City fans have seen the result against United, maybe lack of passion in that game. Not necessarily a bad result. The performance wasn't there, but, maybe like a little bit of fight that we wanted to see and maybe a little bit of that knockout blow that City fans wanted to see. Then we go forward to the West Brom game, and we dropped points there where we were definitely expected to win. Most people had it, but anything can happen in a game of football. But that's what it is at the end of the day. But we're going to look at Pep in versus Pep out. And I know a lot of people definitely have this, feelings upon this based upon these previous results. But also, too, if you Pep out or you Pep in, you have to understand what other people are saying. I don't knock people's opinions. I'm just a fan just like you guys. So a lot of people are right in this decision. Some people are wrong. It's going to be what it is. But at the end of the day, I want you to express how you feel, and we're going to talk about it as a community. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say here is we're going to look at why Pep might be in for some, Pep might be out for some. So we're going to talk about that. But I know it's been a lot of conversations about, is he in, is he out, this guy got to go. I'm tired of seeing this, I'm tired of seeing that. And I just kind of want to take a step back and tell you where I stand. I'm definitely Pep in at this point. And the reason why I'm Pep in is we got to take a step back and kind of look at the Mancini era. So the Mancini era came in, when the club started coming in, and, we got that first title underneath Mancini for as far as this particular ownership group. Then we had Pellegrini, and we won one with Pellegrini. Fast forward, we go to Pep Guardiola. He's won 2. So that's my point. the man has definitely won 2 Premier League titles in great, spectacular fashion. Not only the Centurion season, but the Centurion season was just special within its own right, right? So I think definitely I'm Pep in at this point, loyal to the 17 season and what he did for us in 17 and how he tried to get us going in the right direction in 16. When you look at 18 specifically, 18, remember, we didn't have a lot of Kevin De Bruyne throughout that year. You know, we was man down without Kevin De Bruyne. And when Kevin De Bruyne went down early in the season, you know, we thought he was going to come back, but nobody knew that season was going to play out the way it played out. And definitely a lot of players stepped up. And I'm not going to say that's all the way down to Guardiola, but that definitely is down to Guardiola and his tactics and having people fight, you know, for the badge, but also fight for themselves. So I definitely feel that, you know, I'm Pep in loyal to the 17 season I mentioned, the 18 season. Now, me as a reasonable fan, I definitely understand why some people might be out, Pep out. And I don't think that they're Pep out to overreact to what we just saw over the last 2 weeks or even this season in particular. A lot of those decisions and a lot of those Pep out people, I think they started getting mad at him last year. Let's just keep it all the way real. And then also there's going to be another group of fans that are just Pep out due to expectations of Champions League, which I ain't talking about in this video. If you watch my content, you know I talk about the Champions League sometimes, but I don't really focus on it because the league is my bread and butter, baby, and that's what I want to rock every year. I want to prove not only this decade, we are hands down the team of the decade. I know I need to make a video about that, but there are no other teams that are better than us over the decade. You know what I mean? Come on. So knock it off. So that's just where I think I am. I'm just letting you know that, yes, I question a lot of decisions that he's made throughout the course of last year in particular and this year. You know, I definitely do that. But overall, I'm Pep in at this point because I think that the man definitely has the tools to kind of fix the situation. But has he created some of these problems? Yes. But I think it's only fair that we give him time to fix it, right? So let's just kind of get that out the way and I'll let you know where I stand. Now let's talk about some of these decisions. So when I talk about Pep's team selection decisions, let's just start with that angle first. So just so you know, a lot of people have been questioning Pep Guardiola as far as his tactical decisions, not tactics, but just look when we look at the lineup, right? There are times that we might see a lineup that looks like, you know, something like this, you know, minus Fernandinho being back here. I don't draw these things. I just kind of find them on the internet and then try to add to them. So imagine if this was the Diaz or imagine if this was Stones, whatever have you. That back four is pretty solid. Now, when I say decisions, I'm talking about this whole Mendy thing versus Cancelo thing. You know, I'm talking about playing Gundogan here versus Bernardo sometimes. Is Kevin doing too much? These guys ain't really performing. What's going on with that? You know, so really when I talk about team selection, I'm really talking about the decision-making Pep goes into a game with. And really when I think about this, and let's just talk specifically about West Brom. So we had Gabriel Jesus playing up front. We had Raheem Sterling on the right. A lot of fans have been calling for him to be on the right. But sometimes we might see Raheem Sterling on the right. Sometimes we might see Raheem Sterling on the left. Phil Foden sometimes gets in the team. Sometimes he doesn't. And I don't know. And I want to ask this to other City fans out there. And please feel free to chime in and let me know you guys' thoughts. But for me, I feel like sometimes he plays Raheem Sterling on the left when he should be playing Raheem Sterling on the right in that particular game due to our fullback situation. If we have this man here, hold on, bear with me 1 second while I get these things. If we have João Cancelo playing left back and we know it's an inverted position, there ain't no damn reason why you need to be playing Raheem Sterling on the right because everything is just going to become very narrow. But if you have Mendy playing left back, then that's an opportunity for you to have Sterling on the left wing in that case. So I'm not just trying to say that I'm trying to judge everything that Pep Guardiola is doing, but we have to be mindful. If you're going to have Benjamin Mendy playing on the left-hand side, who's a natural left back, who's going to provide that width, we've seen times where my man Torres can play on the left-hand side, cut in, or Raheem Sterling cuts in, and then the whole defense just goes with him, and then Mendy has all that space. And when I really say team selection too, I'm also talking about the fact that when to use the double pivot situation. And I'm gonna touch upon the double pivot a little bit later, but there are many times where, you know, even last season going back, there was last season, everybody's talking about, this revival with John Stones and all this. John Stones was in the team last year. I don't want to hear that. Now, granted, I will grant you this. John Stones probably was not in form last year. It could have been due to confidence. It could have been due to injury and not being fit all the time. But this man was in the team last year, bro. There were so many times to where he forced Fernandinho, my man Ferner, our beloved Ferner, to play center back to accommodate for Rodri, where he didn't need to do that certain matches last year. There are times to where he didn't have to play Rodri. He was forcing Rodri on the field, at least in my opinion. If I'm wrong, other City fans out there, let me know. But when we talk about his, team selection issues, I believe it started last year. And I'll take it all the way back to another player that ended up getting hurt and then leaving. But all of our issues really started with that dude leaving. But we're not going to touch upon that right now. But there were so many times I've seen Fernandinho at center back last year to where he didn't need to play center backs. We had a healthy John Stones. Laporte might have been out there. And I know Laporte was in and out last year due to his injuries, but we could have had Stones in there last year instead of forcing Ferner to be there. There's other times where Ferner could have been playing for Rodri and Rodri could have sat the match out. And then Rodri would have had a better eyeball witness or firsthand account. Sometimes you have to model and kind of see what other people are doing sometimes, and you got to kind of take a step back sometimes. So it'd be kind of good for Rodri just to pause, take a step back, and then watch Fernandinho from the sideline for one particular game to see what Ferner would have done in those roles, and then them two could have talked about it in a training session or something. So I'm talking about his decision-making overall, and I believe it started last year. Fast forward to this year. There are times, and tell me if I'm wrong, bro. There are times where Phil Foden is supposed to be in the game, bro, and the man just doesn't have Phil Foden. We can watch the game and see after 20 minutes that this match is calling for Phil Foden, or that we're playing Rodri and Gundogan like we saw against United in that particular role. But, sometimes maybe Gundogan would have been there. So there are definitely times where his team selection has just been off, or maybe you might want to see Torres instead of Mahrez. Whatever. So I just believe that he has to simplify his decisions when it comes to, thinking about making team selection changes, because I just don't know where the hell he's going. He might be going with the model of these players are going to play this game and then these players are going to play the midweek game. Like, you never know what the hell this man does. I want to talk about subs, and I'm not going to go in the point of talking about subs too. Subs in the regard of what a lot of other City fans are talking about is him, constantly coming out and saying, "Oh, we need 5 subs" and all this other stuff. I'm not talking about the 5 subs from that point of view in this particular section of this video. I'm talking about his in-game substitution patterns. For instance, we were playing against West Brom last week, and I want to give a shout out to somebody who really, chimed into the channel. He chimed in with the channel and gave me a real good comment. He basically said that, and I might be, mispronouncing his name, but I definitely wanted to give Hayat Sofa a shout out because he raised an excellent point. I don't know if it's he or she, but, please understand that I definitely appreciate your comment because I want to highlight what you said. It basically said that, there are times when Mahrez needs to be on the field. And he kind of went into, there are times when Mahrez needs to be playing versus there are times where Sterling should be playing and versus not. I'm not going to get into that part because I think I disagreed with some parts of what he was making when he said Sterling versus Mahrez. But I think he was spot on when it comes to these decisions as far as the decisions that Pep makes. For instance, bro, you're watching this West Brom game. You can't tell me that there ain't a point to where, you would rather see Riyad Mahrez come on that field. There is no way that, yes, I know you had Sterling on the right. You had Sterling on the right. You have Phil Foden on the left, right? And Phil wasn't able to get into the positions that he needed to do. He just wasn't playing well. You can't tell me, bro, that there wasn't a time to where he should have brought Riyad Mahrez on. I'm not Riyad Mahrez's biggest fan, but I mean, the man either starts or the man doesn't play. You can't tell me that there wasn't a time that where he could have came on in that game, especially after the 60-minute mark, and made a difference in that freaking game. Like, I don't understand his decision making when it comes to subs sometimes. There are times to where Bernardo Silva should be on the field. Now, granted, I know Bernardo's having a rough time of it this year, and I know he's struggling with this new role in this system and kind of finding his place within this team. But, bro, Pep has to make better decisions as far as when to substitute these guys are in. There were times in that game to where I knew Gundogan played well last game, but there are many other games that he should have definitely brought Bernardo on. Bernardo was another player the way you could bring him on. Yo, if it ain't working after half, bro, don't be waiting until the 77th minute to make a change, bro. If you're gonna go with this, people who are on form, we're gonna hold everybody responsible. Then, bro, if somebody ain't playing well 45 minutes in to the game, make that substitution and bring them on. Bring them on in the 60th minute. We got tremendous talent within this team, but I do think, and I agree with a lot of other City fans out there, and they're saying that he's waiting too long to make substitute decisions, or there are games the way he's just going to make one sub, or we can honestly see that, bro, there were times that he could have made 3 subs, but I really believe his thinking is, if you play this game, I'm not subbing you because you're going to play the next game. And I think he's going with that model. It's just not working for us, in my opinion. So that's just kind of where we go right there. I want to move on. I want to talk about Sterling now. I just alluded to what my man said right there. Shout out to SoFi again, but basically talking about Raheem Sterling, in his form. Now, hands up, Raheem Sterling is not in form, but I don't believe Raheem Sterling is the center or the cause of all of these issues right now. When I see Raheem Sterling, sometimes, bro, he's playing on the left wing. Sometimes he's playing on the right wing. There were times, bro, that I know we did not have Sergio Aguero and we couldn't play Gabriel Jesus every game. Bro, but you putting him up as striker. Now he got to go do this and do different things, make all these dummy runs that he ain't used to making and getting bullied off the ball for no reason. Then he plays right wing, and then you put him out there for right wing for 1 game. Then he plays left wing for 2. It's like, bro, just simplify the process for the man. Like, just pick a position. Let's say, yo, Raheem, look, I want to put you, and this is my thing. He should just go out there and put Raheem Sterling on the right wing. And I know that there's a problem with him playing the right wing, but I think a lot of City fans would rather see Raheem Sterling playing on the right. But Pep Guardiola has to make a decision in his mind. Yo, I want to run Raheem Sterling out there for 4 games in a row. 4 games in a row. He's going to be playing on the right, or he's going to be playing on the left for four games in a row. So he has to make that decision. This chopping and changing and moving around and doing all this other stuff, bro, it ain't working. It ain't working. You got to simplify for Raheem Sterling. And in my previous video, if anybody saw my previous video, I definitely said that I want to see him on the right wing. And it's so funny because I really feel like, and maybe this is just me going crazy, but I feel like Guardiola be watching my videos because all the times, everything I say, the man does. But yo, Pep, I commend you. I commended you for playing Rodri and Gundogan against United. No, Rodri and Ferner against United. It didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out, but I commend you for that. And I definitely commend you for playing Raheem Sterling on the right this time. Raheem Sterling got some good positions, and I know he made that assist came from João Cancelo. João Cancelo with the hockey assist, Raheem Sterling with the actual assist, Gundogan the actual goal. But my point is that it's natural. And you see that position where Raheem Sterling is able to make that run. He's going to make that run 9 times out of 10 or a little bit more naturally. In his mind, he's going to make that run a little bit more on that right-hand side to get to that byline, take that defender on, make a slick move, and then be able to pass it with his left. So that he's in an advantage in that position. So I definitely want to see him more on the right-hand side. Or if he's going to be on the left-hand side, bro, stick him on the left-hand side. But my point with Raheem Sterling is that if we play him in a position, please play him in that position. This chopping and changing ain't working. It's just too much. It's just overly too fluid, in my opinion. We'll stick to something and do it well. Now, I did mention, too, that I know that there's a problem with putting Raheem Sterling on the right. And that's what a lot of City fans are not really talking about. When you put Raheem Sterling on the right, there's a big, big, big problem. And it's got nothing to do with Raheem Sterling. The problem is what do you do with the left side? Riyad Mahrez does not play the left wing. You ain't never seen Riyad Mahrez play the left wing. Never. I think I seen him do it one time. One time I seen him play the left wing. So he doesn't do it. Bernardo Silva, another one. Bernardo Silva, you might see Bernardo Silva on the left wing in a midfield position when Raheem Sterling comes out further inside when he's playing left wing, but you ain't gonna never see Bernardo Silva start as the left winger. So my problem with that is, and I want to see Raheem Sterling play on the right, but Pep Guardiola never puts him on the right because he knows that who's going to play the left? Who's going to play the left? He's not going to have anybody to play the left because this man doesn't play the left. I ain't got a picture of Bernardo up here, but then he tried to play, Phil Foden, and I'm going to touch upon that in a second, but it just doesn't work right there. And that kind of brings me on to the next segue, right? So we're going to talk about this. Let's talk about my man Phil Foden. Phil Foden, I don't know, bro. If you watch that West Ham game, you probably saying to yourself, like, what's funny, and I really got to talk about this, is that most Manchester City fans was like, I don't care. I just want to see Phil Foden on the pitch. I just want to see him on the pitch. I don't really care about the position he plays. Now I think people are starting to say, whoa, hold on. Because, he didn't have one of his best games the other day, and that's no fault to Phil. I think Phil's a midfielder. He's a midfielder. He's a true cam position player. This playing him on the left wing, I hate it. I hate it to death. There are times that he does look good and he can go there, but I'm tired of he is this, but he can also do this. We have so many players that, this is what they do, but they can also do this. He could do this. He could also do this. No, we don't need that. We need, this is what this person does. And Kevin can be the person that does all these other different things as far as being like a free roaming role. But everybody just can't be. We don't have specialists. We have a bunch of generalists right now. We're getting too generalists as a team. We need to be a little bit more specialized. And this person's a left winger. This person's a right winger. And maybe they could switch amongst themselves. But going over here and doing all this is just too much. And that's what I'm saying with Phil Foden. And I don't think it's Phil's fault. I really don't. I think Phil Foden should be given the opportunity to play a cam role to where he can be in that cam position. I know Guardiola's not going to do it, but I mean, what's the only thing we haven't seen at this point? I think Liverpool was the last time I saw Foden and De Bruyne playing, and that was right after the restart, bro. We killed Liverpool that match. We looked good against Liverpool that match when they both were there. Now, do I understand that against a team like Tottenham, against a team like Burnley, against a team like, Wolves or something, would I want to see Phil Foden playing in the midfield? Probably not, because I think he's a little bit too slender. But, that's just a thought. We don't really know that. And even though I think he might lose heading opportunities, and I think Pep Guardiola was a little pissed off at him due to his defensive responsibility. But, he's not the best defensive person. So don't be playing him on the left wing, because the left wing is not going to get the best potential out of the man. He is a midfielder. So consider him again for the midfield. And he's another one, simplify the role for him. And I think Guardiola can do these things. So that's just where I'm at with that. But I think a lot of people are starting to say, Phil Foden is not a left winger, and I think we saw that he's not a left winger. Moving on to my next point, right? Hold up, I got to take a sip, yo. This is hard work. It's hard work, bro. Hard work. I want to talk about Pep Guardiola's transfer decisions. Now, like I said, I'm not going to really go deep into these transfers because I think I want to do another series talking about all the money City have spent since Guardiola came in and have those transfers worked out. So you're not going to get that in this video, but just know that that's going to be a later video. But what I want to talk about is Pep Guardiola's decision and me shaking my damn head sometimes with these people. Now, let me talk about John Cancelo. There were some people that felt João Cancelo had a good game last week. There were some people that felt like he had a bad game. I didn't think he had a good game, personally. I personally didn't think he had a good game. I don't understand why you didn't have Walker and Mendy and let them play the whole damn game. You know what I mean? But I get that João Cancelo offers a little bit more going forward. I definitely get that. But my whole thing with João Cancelo is that he's never, ever, and I keep saying this from other videos, he is never, ever, 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 ever going to beat Kyle Walker as the starting right back, because Kyle Walker's better than him defensively in the Premier League. The Premier League is all about power and pace. And João Cancelo does have pace, but he's not the most powerful, strong, push somebody off the ball like Kyle Walker is. And let's just keep it all the way real with that. And my other thing with João Cancelo is that, bro, and I wish I had a picture of this guy, is that I have no ill will towards João Cancelo. I just did not believe we needed João Cancelo when we bought him. We had Danilo, who was perfect for that type of role. So imagine if we did not have João Cancelo. We bought João Cancelo to test Kyle Walker, but he sat on the bench all year last year trying to test Kyle Walker. So that made no sense. So if we would have had Danilo in this role, and yes, João Cancelo is better than Danilo, hands down. I'm not arguing that. But what I am saying is that we would have 40 to 70 million more dollars in our pocket as Manchester City to be able to use on Haaland if we wanted Haaland. Because trust me, we're going to have to spend a lot of money pretty soon. And everything that Manchester City is spending their money on, have you noticed that all of our latest transfers have been world records? Because we don't really historically spend more than 50 or 60. Now the market is saying these players are close to 70, 80, 90, and we're going to constantly have to spend more. We're going to spend the most amount of money we have ever spent as far as one signing in the next 2 summers. Because we're going to need a midfielder that's going to be good. And we're going to need another striker. So we're going to have to spend money in him. My thing with João Cancelo is we just didn't need to spend that money. Same thing I feel with Mahrez. Now, my feeling's a little bit different with Mahrez. And let me be clear with Mahrez. Mahrez is a great player for what we need. Mahrez would have came on that game versus West Brom, and he didn't care. He would have just shot the ball, and it might have ricocheted. He was going to be aggressive, and there are times where you need that, and that's what Riyad Mahrez does. So I don't want anybody to think that I hate Riyad Mahrez, because I know a lot of people love Riyad Mahrez. I'm just not Riyad Mahrez's biggest fan because I like Riyad Mahrez, but I don't like him over this guy. This was my man 50 grand, bro. Like, and I know Leroy is no longer here, but this was my man 50 grand. When we had Leroy in the team, Leroy was automatic power, pace, 10 goals, 10 assists, 15 goals, 10 assists. He was constantly doing that. And I know him and Guardiola fell out. But if you looked at it, we were a much better team when we had Leroy there. And I believe, in my opinion, other City fans out there, let me know, when everybody was out there last year and they were talking about, oh, we had all these problems because of Laporte being hurt. Laporte was hurt, and that was a problem that we had. But it wasn't the main problem. The main problem was we did not have this guy. This guy adds natural width to us, and he makes us better defensively. Not because he's a great defender. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Leroy is a great defender. But what I'm saying is that when Leroy played on that left-hand side, there was no need for Mendy to push all the way up here. So let's talk about that a little bit more. Let's kind of go to this one a little bit better. And I want to move this out because, you know, sometimes you got to kind of show. So this is what you're looking at as our team versus Leicester. But one thing that you know about Manchester City, and everybody talks about, oh, our defense is so much better. But what do? We always bomb our fullback. So Mendy goes so far forward. Walker goes so far forward. When you play this double pivot, and we're going to touch upon this at another point, it protects this area, this box that you see. That's what the double pivot allows you to do. But when we're here and we're bombing on with Mendy, we're bombing on with Kyle Walker, we're bombing on with our fullbacks, there was no reason for Mendy to be over here when we had Leroy, because Leroy was over there. So Benjamin Mendy's starting position was always around this area, which allowed him to get further back. When Mendy bombs on and he's in this position, when Raheem Sterling cuts in over here, now he's got to try to run all the way back. And then that's how people hit us on the counterattack. So, we got to be honest with ourselves of what we're seeing. But, when we had Leroy, that was what we were doing. Now, let me get back to the point of talking about, these transfer decisions. So it's not nothing against my man Riyad Mahrez. I just think that we spent, $73 million? Correct me if I'm wrong out there. Other City fans, correct me if I'm wrong. But I thought it was $73 million on Mahrez. And Mahrez was a good player. We definitely needed him. I just wish we spent 20 less million on him. Combined with the money from Cancelo, this is where we'd be. Emirate Laporte. Jesus Christ. I can't even believe I'm talking about this right now. So I want to be clear about these two guys because I talked about Riyad Mahrez. Now let me talk about Emirate Laporte. Emirate Laporte was a much-needed player for Manchester City, and I do like Emirate Laporte, but I am concerned about some of these transfers that he makes because at the end of the day, how much money we spend on Emirate Laporte? We spent 74 million? I think he was 74 million from Bilbao. So we spent 74 million on Emirate Laporte, which at the time I thought was a good signing. Now, did I want Koulibaly ahead of him? Did I want maybe Hernandez or Jimenez at Atletico Madrid more than him? Yes, I did. But Emirate Laporte is very good for what he does. But now we got an Emirate Laporte who is sitting on that damn bench for Manchester City, who cost us $73 million, combined with the fact that we already got John Stones. So it's like we got all of these center back options. We got to figure out, do we need them? Now, I personally think we needed Emirate Laporte. I'm just saying that we got to be careful with how much money we're spending and how these decisions are working. So my point is that I am Guardiola in, but let me be clear about one thing. This might be controversial to some people, but I'm being real. I don't think Pep Guardiola should have 100% of our transfer decision opportunities or making ability. Like, he should go into it, the team give him input. His input is 50%, but we can't be going out there getting any player and every player Guardiola wants. Nope, nope, nope. Over the 17th season, when we won off the Centurion season, bro, how much money you need? 100 mil? Got you, got you. 18, 19, we win? Yo, how much money you need, Pep? Yo, I got you. 200 mil? Got you, bro. No Billy. Yo, over last year, how much money you need? 200 million? This year, how much money you need? I don't know. So that's my point. Is like, yo, he's at the point now to where I'm definitely Pep in, but I am not about making him the total decision maker when it comes down to transfers, because his transfers tend to be more of technical ability and being smart players. And that's good. That's great. But when Manchester City was winning, I'm not saying that we weren't technical. We had technical players like David Silva was out there. Kevin De Bruyne can express himself in a more technical capacity when David Silva was out there, you know. But now, even Yaya was on the previous team, so where Yaya wasn't playing, but he know how to coach people up and tell them what to do with the technical ability. But the Premier League is a power and pace league, and Guardiola does not make the best transfer decisions, in my opinion, when it comes to power and pace. So feel like you correct me if I'm wrong out there, but I just wish. And I'm not going to touch upon Bernardo Silva and Rodri right now, because I think I want to make another video about Rodri, because Rodri gets a lot of stick, bro. He gets so much stick, and everybody be giving him hell. And let's just really talk about this real quick. And I think people got to be careful with Rodri. Now, when we first got Rodri, I was not Rodri's biggest fan. I'll be honest with you. I didn't want Rodri as much as I wanted other players. There were other players I wanted, yo. I wanted Fabinho. I wanted N'Golo Kante, bro. I was like, yo, give me Kante as a CDM. I never wanted Jorginho. But my point is, Rodri was like third on my list, right? So as we look at Rodri here, a lot of people talk about, you know, can Rodri do this job? Now, when you have Ferner in this role, Ferner would cut people off and be making passes, and Ferner was doing everything. But, yo, everybody ain't Ferner. But the one thing I think Rodri is good at is he's good at intercepting the ball. He presses here, he presses there. He'll win that ball back. He's not the best at tackling, like when he has to come here and when he has to come here to cover. He's not the best at, you know, speed and being able to recover. And that's where Ferner got him beat. But my point with Rodri is that I think Rodri is a good player. But what you see here, Rodri's not going to be successful with this. He's never going to be successful with this. You're never going to have your 4-3-3 where Rodri's playing as the only CDM, bro. If he played as the only CDM and we're bombing this fullback, guess what happens? The other team's wing players fall right into here with the counterattack, just like we saw with Tottenham. Counterattack right through here for Son's goal. Son starts here, counterattacks here because Rodri steps up to make the pass. Kevin's way the hell away over here. But now Rodri's out there pitcher. Harry Kane gets the ball. These two step up, and we're going to act like this is not Fernandinho, but this is actually, let's say, Diaz. He steps up. Guess what? That lane becomes open for Son, who started here, and then we're also going to get another goal here. So we're always going to open ourselves up to the counterattack when we're trying to go 4-3-3 and we're trying to say, yo, Rodri do everything as the CDM. So Rodri's not that type of player, bro. Like, I think Rodri's good, but one thing we're falling short on to be able to help Rodri, it's not the system, bro. We need another, you know, box-to-box midfielder. I've definitely made videos about us needing another box-to-box midfielder. I think Gundogan is good money, but Gundogan's getting up there a little bit. And Gundogan shined last week. Gundogan looked like the best player on the pitch last week. But to ask Gundogan to do that, you know, every 3 days is a little tough. And what we need is we're going to need another midfielder. And that's where you see that we're short right now. So that's just my opinion on that matter. So, all right. So now let's talk about this, you know. God, man, after this game, y'all saw everybody talking, bro. Oh, my God, no more double pivot, I hate the double pivot, all this other stuff. Almost wasting my tea on myself talking about this damn double pivot. Sorry, so let's go back to this. And I kind of just touched upon this. With this double pivot protects us sometimes. And this is probably a better angle to see the double pivot. When you have Rodri and you have Ferner, and let's just pretend that these two center backs are not here. Let's say it's Diaz and let's say it's Stones, or this is Diaz and it's Laporte. What it's allowing us to do in the double pivot, it is allowing us to put a box around their central striker. Because if you look at the teams we're losing to, when Vardy goes up there to that central striking roller, when Harry Kane drops deep, then we get hit with the counterattack. And Leicester didn't really hit us out with the counterattack as much, but, we gave away some silly penalties in that game. But we're always going to be vulnerable when we don't play the double pivot. When we go to this model right here, like I just mentioned, if this fullback bombs, You remember last year, bro, as you being a City fan and everybody else who's a City fans know this, bro. There were times to where everybody would be here. The only two people that would be back here would be these two center backs. But when we play the 4-3-3, now you're only having one cover. You're going to have the center backs. But remember, when we got the ball, everybody's up damn near up here. Everybody's up here. So what do? We constantly get hit with the counterattack here and get hit with the counterattack here, because if your fullbacks are all the way over here and this fullback is all the way over here, and then your center backs are two right here, your CDM is all the way up here, bro, we couldn't do that. We couldn't do that even if we wanted to. So my point is like, the 4-3-3 saves us. Now, do I want to see the 4-3-3 against West Brom? No. Stop it. No, I don't want to see it, bro. Not even gonna lie to you. Don't want to see it, but it is what it is. Against United, I thought that was pretty good. You know what I mean? But against West Brom, and even though I don't think that was a typical double pivot situation or a 4-2-3-1, because if you look, there was times where Gundogan was way up the pitch and he was scoring goals. So I think he kind of went 4-2-3-1, but as the game went on, it became a 4-4-3-3. And at the end of the day, what are we really talking about? What we're really talking about is Manchester City fans want to see one thing. They want to stop seeing the 4-2-3-1, and they want us to go to a 4-3-3. I don't believe he will go to a 4-3-3. I just do not believe it, because everybody's like, the defense is better. Why can't we just go back to one CDM? I don't think he believes the defense is better. I think that he believes that, okay, we played against Wolves, was a team that gave us hell last year. We beat them. We lost against Tottenham. We lost against Leicester. We did beat United. So in his mind, he's like, is our defense fixed? Not really. Now we're fixed. Of course, we know we're fixed a little bit, but is it the final solution? In my opinion, no. And I think Guardiola knows this. So that's the reason why you're seeing the double pivot. If you want to see a 4-3-3, I do think he should play a 4-3-3 against teams like West Brom or like a Burnley or something like that. But I just don't believe the defense is fixed all the way, because our fullbacks are pushing so far forward. So that's what you really get, in my opinion, of the double pivot. There are times where that double pivot is needed. Against United, that double pivot was needed. And I did not want to see Rodri and Gundogan. I wanted to see Ferner and Gundogan. Ferner and Rodri in that particular role. Now, does it create many opportunities? No, it doesn't. Let's just keep it real. The double pivot does not create a whole bunch of opportunities, but it doesn't open us up all the way either. But against teams like West Brom, I will reiterate, I definitely want to see a more attacking lineup, maybe with one CDM. If we see that we get hit on the counter attack, bro, 45 minutes in, make that substitution. Go to a double pivot. You don't be afraid to go to a double pivot. If you start 4-3-3, go to a double pivot. You start 4-2-3-1, and you feel like you got the game on smash from a defensive perspective, but you want to create more, go to a 4-3-3, bro. You should be able to do that. And Pep can definitely do that, and he's figuring his way out as we go through this. So that's my point there, bro. All right. I kind of just talked upon the system, so I'm not going to go there because I just combined it. But let me tell you why. This is the main moral of this video or this live, bro. This is the reason why I'm Pep Guardiola in. And as this video you saw, I critiqued him a lot. But I've also told you why I think I'm Pep Guardiola in. I'm Pep Guardiola in because of what he did in our 17 season, what he did in our 18 season. I know it is a what have you done for me lately type of society we live in. Not only is it that, but it's a what have you done for me lately league when you look at Liverpool being, 8 points above us right now. So that's what it is. But at the end of the day, I definitely think he can change this. And he can definitely improve us because he definitely won those 2 years. So I give him a little bit of slack. He definitely just needs to simplify things. That's all the man needs to do is simplify things. I think he can make these adjustments. If he can make these adjustments, then I'm definitely going to be 100% Pep in. And I think more people will be back into Pep in. So when I say simplify, bro, if you have Raheem Sterling on the right and this whoever's playing on the left, have them play on the left. Stop having them switch everywhere. There are times to where everybody's talking about this 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. It don't even matter. And I'm gonna tell you why it don't matter. Because that formation that you guys see on paper, that is not what they're actually doing. And when you watch the West Brom game, there were times where I saw Jesus playing left back. He was playing left back, bro. There was times where I saw Jesus get the ball and Raheem Sterling was way over here, and I think Phil Foden was somewhere else, and Jesus got the ball on the left wing, bro. He looked up and there was nobody in the middle. So my point is that these players are moving around everywhere. I don't care if it's Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva may be playing the midfield, but then he'll end up on the right wing. He'll end up on the left wing. Raheem Sterling goes everywhere all around the pitch. Too many people are doing too many different things. And I just think the players need to say, well, Guardiola or Pep needs to say this too. What can I do better? What can I do better? And I think Guardiola is open to this. What can I do better? Because remember, when you remember in the 16-17 season, I believe it was, or maybe it was 17-18, when I think it was losing in 16-17, and then they directly asked him and they said, yo, why are your team not firing? He specifically said, maybe I'm not good enough to coach these players. Now, at the time, we knew he was just, taking up for his players, and that's what a good manager is supposed to do. Supposed to manage and, take up for his players. He's probably a little bit less of doing that now, but he has to look at the players and say, yo, what can I do better to make your lives as players better? And then we can see more free-flowing football where we score more, where we create more. And I believe that what he has to do is go to these players and say, look, how can I simplify this system? Because this system we're playing is different than every other system. It may look like a 4-2-3-1, but I'm telling you, everybody is moving around. Nobody is stationary in positions unless you're just like the back two, the center back. Fullback sometimes be inverted, then they go out. Wait, it's just like, way too much. It's kind of like building a house, right? When you build a house, you build a solid foundation first. You don't build a roof first. Your roof ain't got nothing to sit on. And my point being that there is that, bro, we can simplify things. And Guardiola can do this. He can identify what the foundations of this particular system are. And then as we get nicer with this system, and as we start to see ourselves clicking and doing the basics right, then we can go in and expand and, be fluid and, Kevin on the left, Kevin on the right, Kevin in the CDM role, he'd be doing all types of stuff. But let's just simplify it and make it simple for these players to understand that Raheem Sterling, you're going to be on the right for 5 matches. Torres, you want me on the left for 5 matches. Riyad Mahrez, you starting, it's going to be 3 matches over here. And you tell them what they have to do, and they need to fill those gaps, those lanes. So if Riyad Mahrez is playing on the right, I don't want to see Riyad Mahrez on the left. If Gabriel Jesus is playing striker, I don't want to see Gabriel Jesus playing left back. So that's my point. It's just that, we need to simplify it. And I truly, truly in my heart believe that if Guardiola does these things, we're not giving him 100% transfer power, because this is a power and pace league. And I think Guardiola will understand that. And at the end of the day, when everybody's all mad about Pep in, Pep out, just remember one thing, bro. The man signed a 2-year contract. It's not like he's going to be here for 4. The club was protecting themselves too. So at the end of the day, that's what it is. And we want Pep Guardiola to win. I believe he can win. I'm a little shaky on this season because ideally I would like us to be doing better this season, but I do believe he could turn it around if he makes better decisions in the transfer market, simplifies things for players, and just works on that system and makes that system better to the players and not trying to force the players to be better than him. And I believe he could do that. So that's my thoughts on this video, bro. I want to thank you guys out there for liking the content, following me, watching me. I really appreciate you guys chiming in, because at the end of the day, that's who I do it for. I do it for people out there who enjoy talking about football, who enjoy talking about Manchester City, but also give me your thoughts, bro. Because at the end of the day, I'm nothing without y'all. So it is what it is. Till next episode. Peace.